Hey entrepreneurs, do you want to increase the value of your business? Today we are talking about key value driver number 3. To find out what it is, join us on this edition of the Inside BS Show. Hey now, I'm Nikki G. This is the Inside BS Show. I'm here with my partner Dave Lorenzo. Dave, how are you?
Hi, Nikki G. I love doing these shows with you. Every day there's a surprise in the package. What's going on today?
Today we're talking about driving value for your business now. This is the number 3 way to do it in our 10 key driver series. Number 3 way to drive the value of your business is your standard operating procedures. So what are those? Those are a guide to every aspect of your business, so that it operates the same way no matter who is there running it, especially if you as the business owner are out for a day. So your standard operating procedures are ranging from everything from the keys to unlock the front door, to knowing the code to turn off the alarm, to get all the lights on in the building, down to the exact service you're providing, the way that it's provided, how it's delivered, making sure that you're ensuring that there is continuity, quality at every step of the business so that it's always operating the same and it's operating well. So Dave, why is it important to have standard operating procedures, and really what's the value that they're providing to your business?
Yeah, that's a great question, and you really described it perfectly. And there's two places where you really learn to value standard operating procedures. And in my case, it comes from having a career at Marriott in the hotel industry. Marriott is a company that was built on a foundation of standard operating procedures for everything from making coffee to taking out the trash to cleaning the dumpster to making a bed. You name it, Marriott had a standard operating procedure for everything. And I've worked with entrepreneurs who've had a career or been in the military, and they will tell you that the value of standard operating procedures in the military is incredible because you've got people from all walks of life, people with different levels of education, people with different types of innate intelligence. And in the military, they need to perform a specific job to the exact specifications or people die, right? In Marriott, if the bed isn't made appropriately, somebody's a little uncomfortable. But in the military, if you don't load the weapon effectively, you will get shot before you shoot the enemy. So there has to be a standard operating procedure for loading the weapon in the military, and there's a standard operating procedure for making the bed at Marriott. Now, why are these so important? They're important because if your business has these for everything, particularly in the operations space, you can onboard new employees quickly because they can take a book of standard operating procedures and sit there and leaf through them. And with some hands-on training and the standard operating procedures as a guide, they can learn to do everything from replacing the toner in the copier all the way through to sophisticated tasks if they're broken down in step-by-step guides in the standard operating procedures. Think of it this way, Nicola. Think of it as your standard operating procedures are like the checklist that the pilots use before they fly the plane. The pilots have thousands of hours of experience in flying the planes that they're in commercial aircraft. A commercial aircraft pilot was a pilot in the military before they became a pilot in a commercial aircraft, or they were a private pilot and they have hundreds and hundreds of hours before they join an airline. They join the airline, then they have hundreds of hours in the airline in flying the plane, in taking off, in landing, but they still, every single flight after thousands of hours, refer to a checklist and go through the checklist for their pre-flight activities. When there's a crisis and the buzzer is going off in the cockpit, they go to their checklist for that buzzer, for that light, and they work through their checklist of standard operating procedures to diagnose the problem. Why do they have that? So they don't miss any steps and so that there's a consistent response and a consistent experience every single time. This is such a huge value driver in a business. I can't stress it enough. And when I teach entrepreneurs about this, like I come in and I say, listen, you don't have any standard operating procedures. We got to start in the operations of your business and we got to create them. They go, oh my God, I don't have time to sit down and write all this crap down. You don't have to do that. Here's the beauty of creating standard operating procedures today. You have the expert, the person who's doing the task, create the standard operating procedure. And years ago, when we would do this, we would have them take a pen and a pad and write down, okay, what did I do? I sat in my chair. Step 1, sit down in the chair. Step number 2, turn on the machine. Okay, step number 2, turn on the machine. These days, you don't have to do it, because what do? We take out the phone and we create a voice note and we say, step 1, sit in the chair. Boom, they sit in the chair. Step 2, turn on the machine. Boom, they turn on the machine. Step 3, program the machine. Push button A, button B, button C. All they need to do is record into their phone or a recording device that you give them the different steps that they're following. That's transcribed. Somebody stands next to them the next day as they perform that task and they make sure they didn't miss anything. Then you clean it all up and you got your standard operating procedure. You do this for every task, every single task, and it'll take you 6 months to make sure you've captured everything in every segment of your company. But these are so valuable, because when you sell your business and the people transition into the roles in the business, or the owner of the business says, what happens when there's turnover in a key position? You can say, we've got the 30 standard operating procedures right there. We've also got, by the way, videos that show this, and we have certified trainers in each role who will compare the video and the text of the standard operating procedure to the actual person performing the job. That's why these things add so much value to a business, because it serves as a turnkey model for somebody to come in and pick up right where the business left off, so it's a seamless transition. Hey, Nikki G, did you know you can also get our show as an audio podcast?
Of course I know you can get the show as an audio podcast. I'm on it. But does our audience?
I don't know. So those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search up the Inside BS Show with the Godfather and Nikki G, and you'll find us right there. Click the follow button so that you never miss a show. Now, there's a couple of reasons why you're going to want to do that. Nikki G, tell them what the first reason is.
You get to ask us questions. That is exclusive to our podcast listeners.
Yeah, we only answer listener questions on the audio version of the podcast. We don't do it on video. So if you want to hear what everyone's thinking, or if you want to ask us a question, you got to download the audio podcast. The second reason, and my favorite reason, is because you can take us with you. You can have a little Nikki G in your pocket while you're working out in the gym, washing the dishes, or walking the dog. I love me some Nikki G in my pocket when I'm walking the dogs. I don't know about you, Nicola, but that's one of my favorite things to do.
Absolutely. Take us with you.
After you watch this episode here on YouTube, go to wherever you get your podcasts, click the follow button so we can go with you on your journey and you can ask us questions. We will see you, or more like hear you, there. Does that make sense, Nicola?
It does. So I don't like hearing that the process of putting standard operating procedures in place takes too much of your time. It doesn't. It's actually a small amount of time that you will put into that. And frankly, you can use a point person to help you do that. It'll be a small amount of time for the value that it's going to bring to your organization. I mean, a great example of a company I can think of that we all are familiar with that has excellent standard operating procedures in place is Chick-fil-A. Think about it. I think I've read that they can get a new location up and running in something like 4 months. The only way you can do that and allow your customers to come in and have the exact same experience they have at that new location that they have at any location across the country, and there are thousands of them, is by having excellent standard operating procedures in place. There is a step-by-step guide to every aspect of that business. And that business, as we've all seen, runs like a well-oiled machine. From that drive-through line that is out onto the street, they have to make sure that everything is operating exactly on time, that it's being executed flawlessly, that you are providing the same level of service at every single business. So that's a great example as to why you need to have these. And look at how successful that company is. They are way up there, absolutely exploded, doing a really great job with their business. That's why it's so important, because taking that little bit of time to put those procedures in place is going to exponentially increase the value of your business. And that is going to put you on track for an excellent exit strategy.
Yeah, in our business, we just did this recently. So the producer of this show, MJ Villanueva, is in the Philippines. She also is my assistant. I work with her. I interface with her every day. But because her work schedule is opposite mine, she works when I'm sleeping and I work when she's sleeping, we tend to exchange email and voice notes and sometimes videos as a way to make sure we get things done. We just put a new process in place at the time of this recording, and we're 2 weeks into it, where MJ is managing the Inside BS show page on LinkedIn. And she's posting older episodes on the Inside BS show page with the thumbnails and links to the shows. And in order to make sure she could do that, I set up the page here and I gave her the step-by-step guide for how you and I wanted the shows posted, who we wanted tagged, and how we wanted them tagged, and how the summaries needed to be done. So what did I do to create that standard operating procedure? I did a Loom video. I did a video on Loom, which is a really cool screen capture software that showed me doing the step-by-step process for posting the video, creating the summary, and tagging people, and then putting the link down below. And I wrote it out, but I also sent her the video. And you know what happened? She did it flawlessly from day one, and we never have to do it again. And, I want MJ to work with us for the rest of her career, but if she were to leave, or if she gets promoted, when she gets promoted, and somebody else needs to take over that task, she can send them the video, send them the step-by-step guide I created for her, and then teach them one time how to do it, and they can run with it. So that's just a micro example of the value of standard operating procedures. It took me 15 minutes to record that video. It took me maybe 10 minutes before that to work through the process and make notes. Then it took me another 15 minutes to write down the step-by-step guide. So in arguably 40 minutes, I created that entire standard operating procedure, gave it to her. I will never have to do that again. It's done. It's in the bank. As long as we have that practice in our business, it's all set and ready to go. That's a great example of a standard operating procedure that we use. You should be able to do this for everything in your business. It will increase the value of your business exponentially, because when people take over your business, they will be able to hit the ground running.
Absolutely. So my final thoughts on this topic are: make sure that you take the time to put standard operating procedures in place. You are not only going to benefit your operations at this point in time, but at every stage of your company's business and leading up to the eventual exit of your business. That's all for today. We're coming back with point number 4 in how to increase the value of your strategy on tomorrow's show. So be sure to join us there. This is the Inside BS Show. I'm Nikki G, and you are?
I'm Dave Lorenzo, the godfather of growth.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.